Now, away from the late Lois, the Speaker of Parliament on Wednesday, July 10, 2024, directed the clerk to present a copy of the report from the ad hoc committee investigating the leaked tape on the plot to remove the IGP from office to the President. This follows Parliament's adoption of the committee's report. The report, which was not signed by the chairman of the committee, Samuel Atachia, revealed that 3 senior police officers, COP Alex George Mensah, Superintendent George Sanda Asari, and Superintendent Emmanuel Eric Jebi, misconducted themselves and must be sanctioned according to the police disciplinary procedures. Now, Peter Lanshantobu is a member of Parliament and Parliament's Defence and Interior Committee member as well. Peter, thank you so much for your time, sir. Thank you for joining us on Newsbeat. Good afternoon.
My pleasure. Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm good, thank you, sir. Right, so what is the consequences to adopt a report that has not been signed by the chairman of the committee?
Thank you very much. Let me say good afternoon to your cherished viewers. Parliament is a house of records and is a house of rules and regulations. Parliament is a master of its own game. In Parliament, if you have a committee of 6, like what we had in the IGP's leak tape committee, if you have 1/3 of that, you form quorum to do work. If you have 2/3 of that, you form quorum to take decisions. So the quorum for doing work and the quorum for decision making are different. 1/3 is required for you to start business, but 2/3 is required for you to take decisions. Mm-hmm. We were 6 in the committee. And on that committee, the fact that we had a chairman did not mean that the chairman was the committee. The chairman was the leader of the committee that was supposed to provide direction. Mm-hmm. And we had a vice chairman. It's not for nothing that the standing order clearly states that you need quorum to work and you need quorum to take decisions. The chairman, in the process, disagreed with us on so many issues. And in Parliament, when you disagree, it's a house where we argue. Share your idea and let me share mine. When we disagree, we take a decision by voting. And majority always carries the vote. And the fact that majority carries the vote doesn't mean that the minority opinion will not be heard. Mm-hmm. So as we progress, the chairman opted out. That was quite unfortunate. Because you can't be driving the car, you just jump down and leave the steering. Fortunately enough, we've been in this house for some time. The fact that the chairman is not there doesn't mean that the committee will just stop work. No, we've been given a mandate, we've been given an assignment, and Parliament has entrusted its authority onto us to work. So we will not abandon that work. So we continued. And the vice chairman took over the work of the leadership of the committee. Gradually we ended. And we shared the report. The chairman refused to sign. But that was not strange enough because he hadn't taken part in the last end of the deliberations. He hadn't taken part in the drafting of the report. So his refusal to sign was understandable. But for him to abandon the committee, it was so unparliamentary and in fact, it's so shameful because you are the leader. Look, you can lead that committee to the end and sign that report because it is a majority decision, and when you go onto the floor, you air your views that you've signed, that these were the options that you had, but because it's a parliament, and it's a parliamentary committee, the majority decided that this is it. So this is it, but I still want to express my position, and Parliament will listen to you. At the end of the day, the whole of Parliament will now take a decision. Probably they could even factor in your points of view, and take a decision as Parliament to convey to the President. But here's the case, he abandoned us. And the process, he came back on the floor of Parliament. I think that the Speaker was magnanimous enough. I have appointed you as chairman of the committee. You abandoned the committee midway. You never even came back to me. And all of a sudden, you appear on the floor of Parliament saying that, yes, I abandoned the committee because of 1 or 2 reasons, and I want to speak. And the Speaker says, no problem. Go ahead and speak. You could probably convince the plenary. 6 of you went and did the work. So if you are able to convince the 270, probably 269 others, why not? The decision can be taken. You can still have a point in it. He argued and argued and argued. But at the end of the day, Parliament took a decision that what the 5 members did and signed is the report. and Parliament adopted the report. And as directed by the Speaker, the report is supposed to be sent to the President.
So you would say that Honorable Agalga is the one that led or drove this whole move to, finalize on the report and present it to the House?
Exactly. The chairman of the committee moved that through the public hearing. He moved that through the in-camera hearing. He moved that through even the recall of Superintendent Asare to the committee. But when we were done with all the gathering of evidence, we now began to put pieces together to see if we come up with the final report. And that is why the disagreement started. I mean, sometimes, let me give you a clear example. There is a particular letter that was written. It is an unsigned petition addressed to the committee. Okay? And when we looked at it, by parliamentary rules and regulations, we're not even supposed to entertain it. Once the letter is not signed, it's supposed to be thrown out. But the chairman insisted that information provided in there was so relevant. Relevant, who provided the information? An unsigned letter? It is not a letter. But, well, we listened to him. And finally, we decided that we're not going to consider what he was saying. And we voted. And then he lost. There were other things that we voted and he lost. And the fact that you lost a vote in Parliament doesn't mean that your view was irrelevant. What it simply means is that majority has carried the day, and you have to respect it. That is parliamentary rule.
What were some of the pertinent issues maybe Atachia raised on the committee, maybe at the committee discussion level, that you did not pay heed to?
Right. One critical one was the allegation of extrajudicial killings. All people noted, and we stated it on the floor, that the police administration was not on trial. No. It is not a commission of inquiry to look at the activities of the Ghana Police Administration or the Ghana Police Service. No. We were restricted to a leaked tape. And the first assignment in the terms of reference was to authenticate the tape. And secondly, try to look at the allegation of conspiracy to remove the IGP. Look at any other relevant matter in the tape. Make some recommendations for possible reforms. This was a simple job. And somebody in the tape alleged that there were some extrajudicial killings. And we said, fine. He who alleges must prove. So we invited the said officer back. And when he came back, there were about 4 different allegations of extrajudicial killings. One in the Bole area, and we said that one was before court in Tamale. So what is before court is before court. It's sub judice, so we're not going to go there. He said someone was also killed somewhere in the Aflao area, between Aflao and Tama. We said, were you there? He said, no. How did you get information? Somebody told me, okay, can you get us the contact of that person? No. My source is confidential. Okay, if your source is confidential and you're not also there, we are not going to listen to hearsay. Next point. He said, oh, there were some extrajudicial killings in Botiano. The Botiano killings are before a parliamentary committee of inquiry. So as long as it's before a parliamentary committee of inquiry, this special committee will not be doubling into that. And he came back to say, some people were even killed at the police headquarters. And we said, were you there? He said, no. Who gave you the information? He mentioned the gentleman's name and said, this gentleman is ready to come and testify in support of his position. We said, wow, at least finally. Even though we think that your credibility is challenged, because there is no evidence that you provided in here that you could substantiate. But this particular one, you have somebody who is coming to back you. Beautiful. Bring me on. Surprisingly.
Right.
The gentleman whose name was mentioned wrote to the committee distancing himself from the witness and said, please, I have heard this and I've seen it on social media. I am not coming to back him up. I'm not coming to support him. But, I'm a Ghanaian. I have the right to also do what I want. So please, committee, invite me. I also have a lot. Why do we do that? We don't do that anywhere. Even in the law court. If you go to the court and you say, oh, this is a particular witness for my case, and the witness distances himself from you, and tell the court that I want to come on my own, to come and do what? And that was one of the areas we disagreed. And we voted. And majority carried the vote. So if majority carries the vote and you have a strong feeling and you walk out from the committee will continue to work.
Right, Peter Lanchantobu, thank you so much for speaking to us here on Newsbeat. And he's Member of Parliament for Wild West constituency and a member of the Interior Defence and Interior Committee, the ad hoc committee that was investigating the plot to oust the IGP. Let's speak with Adams Bona, a security analyst who's also joined us via phone. Thank you so much for your time, sir. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, and thank you for having me.
Right. So the Speaker of Parliament gave the committee the responsibility to finalize, and Parliament has now adopted the report on these allegations of ousting the IGP. And you see the chairman standing on another side of what the committee has agreed on. Any consequences of that?
Well, yes. Good afternoon to your viewers. It's unfortunate. I'm not too sure what the chairman's motives are, because then these are people who were caught largely plotting to destabilize this country, plotting to oust an IGP so that one of them becomes an IGP, so that person can aid in breaking the aids. If that is not criminal, then that what is it? So for the chairman to literally run away from the committee, as per what his colleagues said on the floor of Parliament, to now turn around on the last day of their submissions before it was adopted, to say that the report should be rejected, I find that very difficult to take, in the sense that, so all along when he was appointed, what was he thinking? Did he go there with his own script? What was he thinking? And frustrating everybody, and largely lying, and telling, all manner of, saying all manner of things. As far as I'm concerned, I think we should congratulate the five of them who actually signed the petition, who worked together to get the petition done, and then the clerk to the committee, and then the other person who, the technical person. And let me also say, I watched the proceedings yesterday, and all those who spoke well, apart from Adhoc. And then the majority leader, I think he nailed it. He nailed it by letting us know that this issue should be settled once and for all, devoid of any bickering. But you can see Adhoc's mischief last night didn't work, and so this thing.
Lord Ambona.
Disgraced officers punished. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, to get these disgraced officers punished.
I just spoke with Peter Tobu, who indicated that by the processes or procedures on the committee, if you disagree with anything, then at some point the committee may have to vote on, which the committee did. And so if the vote and majority carries, it doesn't mean that the minority is not heard, but the majority definitely will carry on the decision. And so I'm not sure how the chairman is now, advising for the report to be boycotted after votes have been conducted on the committee or at the committee level. All right, we're trying to have a discussion with Adam Bona, who's a security analyst, on this development that's happening in Parliament. Parliament has adopted a committee reports on the plan to remove the IGP allegations as a tape that leaked earlier, and the committee actually sat to investigate. The report has been presented to the House. However, the chairman of the committee is saying that we should disregard the reports that has been presented to the House. We're still investigating and also asking questions about it. Let's go for a breather.